Okay, so here is the makeup brush from SHEIN that we just got recently. And this one is supposedly for foundation. Now, I've already kind of like done my chin area with it. And I'm just going to keep on, carrying it over. This foundation that I'm looking is 100% not my shade. But we're going to keep on going because I already have it all over my face. Um, I don't know. I wouldn't say it was like the worst brush in the world, but I definitely wouldn't say it is the best brush in the world either for foundation. It's just like too soft. Like it's not sturdy enough, if that makes sense. Like it's just kind of going, you know what I mean? Like it's not staying firm, and that's not necessarily a good thing. All right. So as you can see, like it is blended, right? But again, it's not like the best blend. But I mean, it'll work, I suppose. Let's go ahead and check out one of the other brushes. Okay, and here is the next brush. This brush is meant for loose powder. So we are using the Bare Minerals powder. And we're just going to go ahead and get a little bit on our brush. There we are. And then we're just going to kind of tap it around and set our face. And as you guys can see with this lighting right here, it's not as bad as the initial lighting. It was making the foundation look, I mean, yes, it doesn't match my skin 100%, but it's not as bad as like initially it looked, for sure. Okay, so with this brush, I think it's a bit better in the sense that while it is like really like loosey-goosey type, like very soft, very like bouncy, that's okay because we're using like a setting powder, so it doesn't have to be as firm, in my opinion, as a foundation brush. But I would still say like it's not the best, you know what I mean? Also, I don't put makeup or much makeup on my forehead because I'm starting to get these like 2 forehead wrinkles, which is making when I put makeup on my forehead, it like makes them pop out for whatever reason. I'm not a fan of that. So I only like contour up there. Next we have the contour brush. And this one is a little bit more, while it's still like bouncy, you know what I mean? It is a little bit more firm. So this is really the one that I thought was going to be for foundation. But go ahead and dip it in. And then we're just going to carve right here. For the most part, I do think that this brush works pretty well for the contouring part of it. But I think that with contouring, at least for me, with like powders, really you could use just about any brush, honestly. Then we're going to do a bit of a darker shade. And this one's like real dark, so you got to be careful how much you use. And then we're just going to bring that up to the brow area. Do you see how I just kind of bring all the product up and around my problem areas right here? That way it doesn't like set and crease in those spots. Once it creases in those areas, then it tends to, in my opinion, make it look like more prevalent that it is a thing. So I'm not a fan of that. Okay. Now I'm going to go back in with my contour brush my powder brush, and I'm just going to kind of like smooth it all out. Okay, next is our highlight brush. But I don't wear highlighter. I think that as I get older, that when I wear highlighter, it kind of like, again, brings out my wrinkles in my face or like fine lines. So I feel like highlighter for me is not like a win-win. But let me go ahead and grab some and I'll just kind of show you guys how the brush itself works. Right down the center of my nose. And then kind of tip it out right in the tin. A little right there. And then a little right there. So with this brush, if you can kind of see now that it's a bit dirty, how like uneven it is. And while I don't think it's supposed to be like that, it does make it pretty difficult to use. Now we're going to move into eyeshadow brushes, which we actually have several in here. We also had one more bigger brush, if you guys remember, and that one was for tanning. Okay, and here are these. So this one is considered a smudge brush. This one is considered the eyeshadow brush itself. And then this one is considered the crease cut. And then we have two of these, which this one here is for concealer. And then this one here is for your lips. So that's good. So we're gonna go straight in with the eyeshadow brush. And we're just gonna dip it right into my black eyeshadow. And we're going to go right up under on my bottom lash line. I do like the fact that they are so little, so it is a bit more precise when I'm doing it, opposed to the regular eyeshadow sponge brush things like this. They can't get as precise as these little brushes, so definitely helpful when you're trying to do underneath your eyes, or at least for me it definitely is. So I don't take it all the way there. I actually just messed it up on that one. Usually I stop right there. Took it over a bit far on this one, but now I'm going to use the smudge brush, and we are just going to kind of run it across a couple times, just kind of like, I guess, smudging it out, what the name is. Okay, now we're going to go back in with the eyeshadow brush, and we're going to get quite a bit of product on here, and we're just going to go right up here and just lay it down. When I look you guys straight on, because I have hooded eyes, you see how like the fold goes right here? So I go right above that fold. That way, when I look up, you're still, like when I look straight out at you, you're still able to see it. Because if I put it in my crease where most people put their eyeshadow at, then when I look straight on, you wouldn't be able to see it because I have hooded eyes. So that's how I do them. So I do the first line, I make sure that's good, looks good, and then I just bring it all the way over on both sides. And I mean, there's really no precision on this other than like the first initial line that I drew. From here on out, it's just like filling it in pretty much. I just make sure that I go from like pretty heavy over here, and then I get lighter as I drag it, because I'm going to put like a whiter or lighter shade when it gets closer in my inner corner area. I'm going to take my smudge brush, and I went over a bit too far in this area, so I'm just going to kind of see if it'll, there we go, perfect. Kind of wipe it away slash, you know, blend it, if you will. Like my eyes are always like cousins. not twins, not even like siblings. They're like cousins. Sometimes distant cousins at that, because I can never get them to both look the same. Okay, now we have this, and now we're going to go ahead and dip into the gray. And we're just going to kind of marry these two colors a bit together and kind of take it up a bit. Right here, you see? There we go. And then I'm going to kind of tap up here with this gray color. That is one thing that did not come, was a little blending brush. So let me grab one. So here is my blending brush. I'm just going to dip a little bit into the gray. And then we're just going to kind of come up here and buff it out so it's not such a harsh line right there. Kind of bring it up just a tad. And every once in a while I go back in with the black, because I feel like it kind of muted out a bit. Just like that. Basic, nothing crazy. All right, then we're gonna go back in. So this is for the crease of your eye right here. I'm gonna go in with this one, and I'm going to dip into the white. A little bit of white. And this does have a bit of fallout, so I'm just going to cover my lashes like this. And just kind of, no, I'm not going to use this brush. No, it's not good. Not good for what I'm trying to do. All right, I'm going to use technically the lip brush. And go in with that one. Yeah, that's a bit better. Matter of fact, I'm just going to go in with my trusty little sponge one with this eye and kind of show you guys the difference. In my opinion, it kind of gets more on your lid with less fallout. You see the difference? So I'm going to take it back over to this one. There we go. That's better. And then I'm going to go back in with my shadow brush, this little bit of black, and I'm going to go right here and kind of fuse it a bit. Like so. Now I'm going to go in with my spongy brush, this right here, and go right here in these corners, just like that, and that looks cute. So that is the eye look with those brushes that we got. Lipper stickers. And that is it. We just have to do our eyebrows, which we don't have a pencil for that, so I will just use my little brow pen, and then that is my review of these little brushes. So I think for beginners who are just starting out, I do think that these would be good brushes for you. But I do think that if you kind of already know what you're doing, then these brushes aren't, you know, you know the difference between like good brushes and bad brushes in a sense. So, I mean, they're okay. I would probably say they're like a 4 out of 10. While they're not terrible and they're not definitely not the worst brushes I've ever used, they're also not the best brushes I've ever used. So, I hope this helped you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!